Good morning. Happy Friday. So today we are going to create another card with this up and coming release hot air balloon. And today we're going to make a Z fold card. And we are starting out with a piece of petal pink cardstock that is 11 by 5 1/4. And we are going to score it at 2 3/4. Just want to get this straight so it doesn't. 2 3/4, and then 5 1/2. So that would be our normal. Hi, Karen. I feel a little better today, actually. I felt crappy when I first got up, but right now I don't feel too bad. Thank God. All right, so 5 1/4 by 11. We scored it at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. And now I am going to cut off 1 inch. All right, so now we are left with 4 1/4 by 11 and then a 1 inch piece. Let's just take that aside. All right, I'm going to get my bone folder, and like I said, we'll fold this over, and that is our normal card base. And then we will fold it over to the left. All right, so there is our Z fold. We're going to take our smaller piece here and we're going to fold it exactly the same way. But we are going to, here it is this way, we're going to turn it in the opposite direction. Okay? So it was this way. When we cut it off, we're just going to flip it so the longer side is to the left. Okay? And now we can decorate. So what I'm going to do is petal pink. This is also Flirty Flamingo. Oh, I don't have one here. My cutter I need to replace my blades. So it's leaving little pieces. And I don't have my emery board in here. You know, you can take your emery board and hit the edges if you have little shredded edges from your blade. All right, so we're using the Flirty Flamingo and the Designer Series paper that is lighter than air. When I start talking, of course, my voice gets dry. My throat gets dry. I haven't coughed at all morning. All right, and then we're just going to adhere that right to the inside of the card. For the front of the card, we're going to use another piece of Flirty Flamingo, and I believe this is 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. And we're actually going to use the cloud paper. One side is polka dots, but we're going to use the clouds. And we're going to line this up. And we're just getting the base of our card ready so we can decorate it. And so this we'll put right here on the front of the card. All right, so far so good. Now for the balloons, it did already stamp them and die cut them so we could save some time. You saw last night how I cut them. Then I have our baskets. So we're going to start with, and I also took the dies and die cut from the designer series paper. The dies fit these little images perfectly. So you can see I used the dies and cut out the balloons in the designer series paper. And we're actually going to use these for the front of our card. And I also fussy cut these cute little baskets, okay? So let's just grab one of these baskets. I'm going to glue these to the balloons. And give it a chance to dry. I think there should be, here it is. I was going to say there should be one more. All these little tiny pieces. Plus I have ink all over my fingers. All right, and then this one, just going to adhere that basket. All right, now while those are drying, let's take a look at this piece. I do have some Flirty Flamingo and the clouds that we are going to put onto this piece here. Okay, we're just going to decorate it up with Flirty Flamingo and the clouds. But before I do that, I want to fix our balloons, okay? I have a piece of petal pink, and then I have a Flirty Flamingo piece, the decorative piece. Let me just take out. There it is. I still didn't poke everything out here. So it's petal pink and Flirty Flamingo. And then on this one, remember last night I was telling you you could use an adhesive sheet? That is what I did with this one. So it already has the adhesive on it. Just going to get these pieces out. And it is so much easier. Let's move that out of the way. With the adhesive, all we have to do is lay it down. I'm just going to adhere it to that Flirty Flamingo, the Flirty Flamingo to the petal pink. So it was nice and easy doing it that way. And then we can take this, add our glue, and adhere this to our balloon. All right, now this one I have to add some glue. So we're just going to put a few dots. And then grab our Flirty Flamingo. All right. And then we can add it to, whoops, this balloon. Now, the reason I did 2 balloons is so we can put them back to back. And I'll show you why in a second. All right. Let's just put this aside, pull our card back in, and we're going to take our balloons. We're going to add these to the front of our card. And I think what we'll do is we'll adhere one and pop one up. Now this piece, we are going to adhere it to the front of this card. And you can decide where you want to put it, but it has to be able to close and be the same size as our card. Okay? So let's just adhere this one first. Put this right here. I'm actually going to it's got to go right to the edge, and you can put it all the way down to the bottom, or you can pull it up a little bit. That is up to you. We're going to adhere that right there. And then I'm going to take this second balloon and I am going to pop it up. So we'll just grab a couple dimensionals. And we're going to wait until I add this to it. So this is the Designer Series paper. This is 7/8 of an inch, and this is 3/4 of an inch wide. So this should be 5.5. This one should be 5 3/8, and this one is 5 1/4. So we are just going to adhere this to the front. In the meantime, I have a piece of acetate. I'm just going to stick it underneath that piece while it's drying. I do have to cut it, okay? And then we'll take our second balloon and add that to the front. Oh, sure. Let me see where it is. All right, what did I do with, oh, here it is. All right, so I don't have the Stampin' Up sheets, but I do have Elizabeth Craft. And each side, if you pull this paper, the adhesive is right here. Okay, so what you would do is, I'm just going to cut a piece off. Where's my scissors? So here is your double-sided adhesive. Okay, let me grab a little die. I'm just going to grab a little die and a little piece of paper. All right, so you want to die cut this die, but you want to add your adhesive. You would take your adhesive, and I cut it so I don't waste it. Now, if we could just get this paper off. Okay. So you would take your adhesive sheet, you would lay your cardstock down on top of it, okay? Take your die, lay it on top. All right, run it through your cut and emboss machine. So now it's all cut out, and when you turn it over, you just take the backing off, and now it has the adhesive on the back. So it would stick to anything you stick it to. So when it comes to, and I did it for this one too, but I actually die cut it the wrong way. When you have little intricate designs, it just makes it so much easier to adhere. All right. All right. So I ended up cutting out this. Just get this. Oh, everything is staticky today. A little banner. And I am going to, I'm looking to see where oh, here it is. I'm going to grab that Wish Big, and I'll do it in Flirty Flamingo. So I hope that explains it a little bit, Karen. All right, so Wish Big. We're going to put this right here at the bottom. All right. Now you remember I have this piece of acetate here. We are going to take, let's take this yellow one, and I'm going to adhere the little basket to the bottom. So I'm just going to grab some glue. And I'll adhere this little basket. Just make sure it's on there straight. Whoops. Okay. Now I want to add it to this piece of acetate, but this acetate is too long. And I'm just looking, my scissors just disappeared. Oh, there they are. So we're just going to cut this down a little bit. And I have two balloons, one for the back and one for the front. So I'm going to add glue to the whole thing. We want to keep it within the 5.5 by 4.25. And we're just going to adhere our balloons together. So we want to keep it within the side of the card, okay? And then we're going to head over here, and I am going to actually take this piece of acetate and fold it in half so it's stronger. And I'm going to adhere that down. Let's get that out of the way. And grab our other one. We want to adhere these together. Just going to hold that in place for a minute. I have my other basket right here. Add a little bit of glue. Gosh, nothing wants to come up today. All right. This balloon is a little larger, so I figured I would adhere it, double it with the acetate. I'm going to add some glue. Whoops. I got glue on my fingers. I'm going to adhere this right about there. And I'm going to grab my other little pieces. So we're going to adhere this. And we want to make sure we put these clouds on in the right direction. That'd be a heck of a note. And then adhere this down. I'm just going to hold it for a second. Yeah, they're cute. These little balloons are cute. All right, that should be good. And then we have the last piece. That we're going to adhere to this last section here. All right, it still needs to be adhered, but I'm going to take a piece of Flirty Flamingo first, and I'm just looking, where did my, here it is. The Flirty Flamingo is 2 5/8 by 4 1/8. Basic white is 2 1/2 by 4. And I am going to grab the Up and Away, It's Your Birthday, or Hooray, It's Your Birthday. But I think I have to all right, ink it up. Let's stamp it. We're going to adhere these two together. And this piece, we are going to adhere it to this section on the inside of the card. All right. I did do an additional blue one. We can add it to this back piece here. Let that dry. I am going to actually add a couple dimensionals. We'll pop it up. Now, we want to close this card up, and this is the reason why I did the balloons double-sided, because if you notice when this opens and then closes, we're going to see the back side. All right, so we want to close up the card. Let's add some adhesive. Close the card. And we want to get it on here so it's even. Aw, thank you. Yes, they are. I saved them. Instead of buying window sheets, I saved those pieces from the stamp sets. All right, so now it's adhered. And then we're just going to all right. So now your balloons, and you want to make sure, I'm going to have to cut this off and then fix it. It's got to come over further so it's freestanding. This one, let me see, I can cut this out. The acetate will allow me to move it. So let me just get this out here. I'm going to re-glue this. There we go. All right. I'm just going to add some more glue and lift this up. We want to add this closer to the center. Let me just. All right, there we go. Closer to the center so it doesn't hit that side wall. All right, so there is our balloons. All right, then when it folds, we see the back side of that balloon. All right, so there is our fun fold. I believe I did not post it yet, but I'll have the blog post up for last night's cards, and this one I'll have up tomorrow. I'm going to try to rest for the rest of the day, try to work off this cold. You're so welcome. So I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Stay warm. It's only 39 here and it's raining. So I'll talk to everybody soon. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks, Karen. Bye-bye.